member for Parry Sound, Muskoka.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians are being crushed by the housing crisis. The Liberals' own internal documents admit that housing now eats up 52% of household income. Mortgage delinquencies are at a record high. Families can't keep up, young people can't get in, and this Liberal government will not show us a plan. Mr. Speaker, a budget is a plan. And while Canadians suffer, these Liberals refuse to present a budget that will solve the housing crisis. My question is very simple. Why?
Why?
The honourable member of Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, this government is committed to taking action on housing, and that's why we've rolled out the GST break for first-time home buyers, saving them $50,000 up to $1 million purchase. That's why we've rolled out a tax break for 22 million Canadians to help them afford housing. We are taking action, and we will continue to take action at a pace that I hope the members opposite will support us on.
Excellent answer.
The honourable member for Parry Sound, Muskoka.
Well, Mr. Speaker, here's what we know now. We know now that Toronto and Vancouver are two of the most unaffordable cities in the world. We know that the cost to construct a residential building in Canada has increased by 58% in the last 5 years. We also know that this latest housing minister increased home building taxes by 141% while he was mayor of Vancouver. And we know that the TD Bank has declared that this government will not come close to their promise to build 500,000 new homes per year. Mr. Speaker, are the Liberals refusing to deliver a plan because they don't actually have a real one?
The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This government has been very clear about our plan for housing, the most ambitious plan for housing in Canadian history, and that is Build Canada Homes, that is moving forward on actions, concrete actions that will save people money.
That's right.
We are going to take action for multi-unit residential buildings that we hope the members opposite will support in the fall to increase rental supply. We are going to take action across the board, particularly on affordable housing, and we expect support in this House.
We do.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
The housing minister who increased building taxes by 141% the last time he had a chance should be aware that Oxford's Global Cities Index found that residents of Toronto spend more of their income on housing than any other city in the world. But the man in charge of housing doesn't think that's a problem. He says that housing prices shouldn't go down, period. So if he doesn't think that housing prices should go down, can he tell the residents of Toronto just how much more of their income they're going to have to spend on their homes?
Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I've got to say it's refreshing to hear the members opposite actually care about affordable housing, because they never did anything about it. That's right. That made life very difficult for mayors and premiers and housing ministers across the country that saw no support for 10 years from the members opposite in their government.
Very true.
We are taking action. We are committed to scaling up that action with Build Canada Homes and direct action in these weeks and months ahead. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member for Thornhill.
Mr. Speaker, forgive me if I'm a bit skeptical of the housing minister who increased the price of housing by 179% in just 8 years in Vancouver. They broke housing. They fueled inflation that drove up rates. They rewarded those who blocked housing construction. They supercharged immigration numbers that outpaced the availability of housing. He says we need affordable housing. Great. But then he turns around and says that home prices shouldn't go down. Both of these things cannot be true, so which one is it?
The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm frankly not surprised to hear the confusion on the other side of the House when you put the words affordable and housing together.
That's right.
We're taking action on it, Mr. Speaker, and though the federal government does not control the price of housing, we want to see the overall cost of housing come down. That's why we are investing in local partnerships with cities across Canada to bring the development cost charges down for housing and deliver affordability.
Honourable member for York Centre.
Speaker, after a lost decade of this Liberal government, housing in Toronto is unaffordable. Last week, we learned that new home sales are at a record low. Now, according to Oxford Economics, as a result of high immigration, quote, residents of Toronto spend more of their income on housing than the residents of nearly every other city in the world. You'd think that would prompt the Liberals to present a serious plan. Instead, they want to break for the summer without a plan. Speaker, will the Prime Minister respect the will of this House and pass a budget before his summer vacation?
The Honourable Minister of Transport.
Mr.
Mr. Speaker, I really like to believe that all members of this House are sincere in their desire to make life better for Canadians. That they want to make life more affordable, that they want to get more homes built. And that is why I really hope that the members on the opposite side of the House will join us in supporting the One Canadian Economy legislation. This will help us build more homes faster. It will bring down prices for Canadians by 15% if we can remove all trade barriers in our own country.
The honourable member for York Centre.
The Minister of Housing said he doesn't want to bring down prices for Canadians. But Speaker, Toronto residents can't afford a roof over their head. When I knocked on doors this spring, voters would tell me that they can't afford their mortgage. Or in apartments, they'd say, Roman, I can't afford my rent. It's heartbreaking. Liberal immigration policies are forcing Torontonians to spend more on their income on housing than anyone else on planet Earth. But the Prime Minister is failing Canadians and refuses to listen to this House. Speaker, when will the Prime Minister deliver a budget?
Hear, hear. The Honourable Minister of Transport.
Mr. Speaker, one of the policies the Prime Minister campaigned on was building modular housing. That is a way to get more homes built faster, and we know that by removing barriers to internal trade in our country, we can get a modular housing industry going in our country. Exactly. That is one of the solutions to the housing crisis. I hope the members opposite will be constructive and support this important legislation.
Honourable member for York Durham.
Mr. Speaker, my generation refuses to live in a shipping container. Oxford Economics reports yesterday that Toronto's housing market ranks among the worst in the world for affordability. At the same time, mortgage delinquency rates in Toronto are higher than at any time during the pandemic. The financial burden is suffocating the next generation of homebuyers. And history has shown us, Mr. Speaker, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. A budget is a plan, Mr. Speaker, so my question to the Prime Minister is, when will Canadians see one?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
Mr. Speaker, I've traveled all across this country. It's a huge privilege of this job, and I visited families in every riding from every walk of life, and I can tell you that modular housing, which provides a housing solution for so many families, is not a shipping container. And to speak with such demeaning tone about families that are living in a variety of different kinds of housing really indicates the kind of disrespect that the Conservative Party of Canada has for low-income Canadians and middle-income Canadians, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Northumberland Clark.
Mr. Speaker, tents are not houses.
That's right.
The Prime Minister told us during the campaign that Canada was facing the biggest crisis of our lifetime. Well, here's a crisis. In 2015, housing costs were an average of 38% of Canadian household budgets. Today, it's overwhelming. It's 52%. Wow. A recent study found that Toronto residents spend more of their income on housing than nearly every other city in the world. We were told that the Prime Minister, well, he's the man with a plan. Canadians want to see it, and time is of the essence. When are we going to get a budget?
The Honourable Secretary of State for the Canada Revenue Agency.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, maybe the member opposite should ask himself, look in the mirror, ask his colleagues why they voted against every housing initiative we put forward over the last several years. Rapid Housing Initiative, Federal Co-Investment Fund, the Housing Accelerator Fund, Mr. Speaker. Their own leader told them not to support the program while the MPs themselves were trying to advocate for it. Shame on them, Mr. Speaker.
That's right.
The honourable member for Sarnia-Lambton, Vikedjwanan.
Well, Housing Accelerator, $4 billion, 0 homes built. But meanwhile, housing prices have doubled, rent has doubled, down payments have doubled, and people are now defaulting on their mortgages at record rates due to the disastrous inflationary spending of this Liberal government. A federal memo confirms that housing will consume 52% of the household budget this year, up from 38% in 2015, so they know they caused this problem. When will the government table a budget with a plan to give the hope of home ownership back to young people?
Hear, hear. Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, this government is taking action on delivering affordability, and we've done that with a tax cut for 22 million Canadians.
That's true.
We've done
Good
that
point.
with a cut to the GST for first-time homebuyers. We will continue to do that with actions throughout this year, and we expect the members opposite to support this. This is a new voice. Suddenly there's concern from the Conservatives who never voted for affordable housing, never supported a single initiative on affordable housing.